Hello, welcome to Bored and Confused, where I review shows based on two criteria. One, was I bored? Two, was I confused? Today's show is Oedipus, or as I would call it, Oedipus, but we're going to call it Oedipus today. So this is a transfer from the West End that is now playing at Studio 54. Before I get into this, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe so I can see more Greek tragedies. All right, so if you do not know the story of Oedipus, schooling has failed you. But it's not necessarily a bad thing, because you can go and be one of the few people who sees this play and does not know how it's going to end. So I would turn off this video, I would go buy your ticket. This is a very good production. It's modernized production of a Greek tragedy. I don't want to give away it's a tragedy, but I'm really curious. If you don't know this story, I'm really curious to your reaction seeing this in real time and not knowing what's going to happen. So turn off the video, do not do any homework, go see the play, come back and let me know what the experience was like seeing Oedipus for the first time. Now, for those of you, most of you, who are really familiar with this play, welcome. We're going to talk about it. And there are going to be spoiler alerts because you already know how this play ends, right? If you don't, turn the video off. You've been warned. All right. So what did I know going in? Well, I know the Greek tragedy. I know the main components of it, and I know how it ends. And then when I got there and I started flipping through the playbill, I realized this is a transfer from the West End. And these are the actors Mark Strong and Lesley Manville, who premiered it in the West End. I got the names right. And it has been created by Robert Icke after Sophocles. Now, by created, I believe he did the adaptation, he wrote it, and he directed it. So that's cool. And because the man has class, he wrote after Sophocles to give some credit to this guy. So what is Oedipus about? Well, in this adaptation, our protagonist, Oedipus, played by Mark Strong, is a politician on the brink of what looks like a landslide election win. We don't know really what country this is in. It felt European just based on the graphics of there being more than two candidates who are in the race. His wife, Jocasta, played by Lesley Manville, is standing beside him and supporting him at the campaign headquarters. This whole play takes place at the campaign headquarters, which I really thought worked and was kind of brilliant, the way he made it all happen in one place. So early on, before we really get into the play, there's kind of a prologue, which is a video, like a live video report showing Oedipus out with the people cheering, and he's being interviewed by a reporter. And in this, he talks about how with the past administration, lies are being spread as truth, the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. And he even vows that he's going to release his birth certificate to address these claims that he is not eligible to run because of where he was born. So all of this you're saying is, wow, this sounds familiar. And it is. It's very much of this time. Although I do have to say that because we didn't know what country this is in, the idea that he needs to bring out his birth certificate to show that he is eligible to run, I didn't really understand that. Because, you know, with Obama, we get that Trump was kind of making it a racist issue, that saying a black man isn't really an American, you know. We all got that. But because this is a white dude, I didn't really understand where are they saying he's from? Okay. So that never really made sense to me. But it really is being used more as an inciting incident, because him saying that he's going to release his birth certificate without consulting his team and his wife becomes the inciting incident that really starts this play going. And I think it's a very smart thing to do. So early on in this play, we're at the campaign headquarters. A homeless man sneaks his way in and he says, I have a warning to give to Oedipus. And they all want to throw him up. Oedipus is like, I'm a man of the people. Let the man speak. And then he tells them, I have a warning for you. You're going to kill your father. You're going to sleep with your mother. And then the third prophecy is a little bit more nebulous in that he says something like the end will be the beginning and the beginning will be the end. And this ticks Oedipus out and he throws the guy out. Also, I do have to comment that I'm always impressed how homeless people are often so fit. This guy, despite being blind and homeless finds time to get a nice pump going at the gym. Gotta love actors. One really cool thing too about being in the campaign headquarters is they've got literally a ticking clock. This play is 2 hours, no intermission, and the clock is set to count down from 2 hours because it's 2 hours from when the results of the election will be announced. So if you're one of those people that always feels you need to check your watch during a play, you don't need to. It's right there on the stage. And I kind of enjoyed this. You always knew exactly how long, what we had left, and you knew when it was about to wrap up. So as I said, the rest of this play unfolds in the campaign headquarters, and it's handled really well. The writer-director found ways to make that logical and to bring people in and out of this space. So I really loved this modernization. And I normally, like with Shakespeare, I'm usually not a fan because it just confuses me. But because this is written in modern day language, I thought it really worked being set in a modern setting. The performances are great. Mark Strong and Lesley Manville make a great power couple. They're both fantastic in these roles. Lesley Manville in particular has a monologue where she is talking about having given birth to this child at a very young age, and it's something that she doesn't like to talk about, but she finally has to come out and tell her husband the details of this that she's never told him before. It is a heartbreaking monologue. It is a very timely monologue, and she's fantastic with this. I thought the staging of this was really great. There's a reason it transferred. It's really great. It's really new and exciting and of the now. And I enjoyed really everything about it. The acting across the board is great. I particularly loved John Carroll Lynch's Creon, the brother of Jocasta. I thought was really fabulous. I also love Oedipus's mother, played by Anne Reid. I really enjoyed her. She's just this older woman who really doesn't have time for all this nonsense. And yeah, all of the actors were great in their roles. All right. I also felt that this production really showed that ancient Greek theater can really speak to modern day audiences. All of these themes of political ambition, the media, identity, facades versus truth, they're all very relevant. And this play really makes a case for reviving Greek tragedies. Here are some things that I struggled a little bit with. Early on into the play, there's a dinner scene that really is used to get out a lot of exposition. It's giving us the family dynamic. Now, normally a dinner scene will happen later in a play and just be where all the shit hits the fan. But this was used more to tell us about the family. And I found it kind of went on a little bit long for me. And it's also talking a lot about Oedipus's sons and daughter, his daughter Antigone. And this is why I wish I could go to this play not knowing anything about it. Because when you know where we're headed, it's very easy to get impatient with the narrative when it's focusing on characters that you know aren't really at the heart of the story. You know what's going to happen and you want to get to it. So I felt a little bit of my attention drifting during the dinner scene. Never really full on bored because, you know, the acting is good and the directing is good and it's a good play. There was just a little few confusing moments, like after Oedipus's elderly mother sits down and tells him, she comes in at the beginning of the play and says, "I need some time alone with you. I need to tell you something." And we are all like, oh, but then that gets put off. He puts it off because they're busy. You know, there's all this stuff going on. Once he finally sits down to her and she expresses everything, she's like, "I need to go lie down." She says, "Wake me up to find out when you know the result of the election." Now, because there's a clock on stage, it says 4 minutes, literally 4 minutes. So I'm like, "Old lady, you're going to go to sleep for 4 minutes? Just stay up." Little moment where I was like, come on. And there's another moment after the election has been decided. She comes in and Oedipus, having just learned some really awful news, is lying on the floor curled up like a fetus. And she walks in and kind of doesn't acknowledge the fact. And then, spoiler alert, some gunshots ring out and she's like unaware of it and leaves. So I was just confused as if she was actually there or if it was, I don't know, I was really confused by that whole scene there. Another issue I had is during the dinner scene, one of the young sons pulls out a gun and is waving it around, and we realize that he stole it from one of the bodyguards. It's a weird scene. And this character, I'm like, what? It just was very strange. And I understood the reason they did it is Chekhov's gun. Spoiler, I mean, there's not really a spoiler because by waving the gun around, we kind of know what's going to happen with that gun. So that was a very confusing moment to me. And the thing is, we have to end the play the way the play ends. And in modern times, it feels a little extremist, right? Okay, you guys know how it ends. Jocasta kills herself and Oedipus blinds himself. And they almost make the case for it in modern times. But, this guy just got elected to a very high office. And if we know politicians nowadays, it doesn't matter what scandal comes out. They're going to find a way to spin it. And it's like, that's modern day politics. So the fact that someone would feel so upset about this revelation, I mean, it is upsetting, but that Jocasta would kill herself and then that Oedipus would blind himself. It's Sophocles being very poetic. He can't bear with what he has to see. So, I think we all know it's going to happen. So we kind of go, okay, it has to happen because you can't do the play without that. I mean, I think she hangs herself in the original. So they did change how she kills herself. But I think the blinding is so important, right? What do you think below? I mean, felt like, so it's your mother. She didn't raise you as her mother. You met her as just some woman. Go on with your life. Go be married. I mean, the current president of the United States talks about how attractive his daughter is, and that's creepy. So I think we could have had a happy ending with this. Anyhow, so yeah. Tell me what you think about that in the comments below. Should he have not blinded himself? Should she have not killed herself? She kind of had to, right? So I had a few of those confusions, and I saw this with some time for them still to make some changes because I did not get a press ticket for this. I had to buy my ticket. I went a little earlier than I would have liked. So maybe, let me know in the comments below if maybe they solved some of these issues. Or come for me for not seeing a preview performance because I had to buy the ticket. I've learned the hard way that if you win the lottery, you probably should just take it because you may not win it the next time. So, was I bored? Overall, no. Even the scenes that I thought lulled a little bit, I was just so fascinated by this contemporary retelling of the story and the great acting that I was never so bored that I was thinking about what I was going to have for dinner. And was I confused? I was pulled out a few times in the moments that I've mentioned, but overall, I just really love the inventiveness of this show, and I didn't mind having a few confusions, which, might get ironed out. So, wrap it up. If you have any interest in Greek tragedies being done in a modern setting with tremendous actors and very creative staging and concepts, I definitely say go check this out. It was a hit in the West End. It's going to be a hit in New York. And it's in a fairly large theater. So let me tell you about how you get your tickets. I did the lottery on TodayTix for $45. My seat was on the fourth row. It was row B, but there's a double A, double B. Fourth row, I was like 4 seats over. Very close. But for this play, it's all staged pretty far downstage. For this, the acting, I was so glad. I was so happy I was close. What I wasn't happy about is the seat in front of me is removable so that they can put a wheelchair in. And for the performance I saw, they had a wheelchair in front of me. And it was one of those motorized wheelchairs where they are a good head taller than a person would normally be. So I think it's great that they have seats for people with disabilities. I wish they didn't block the view of people behind. I wish there was a way they could figure that out, whether it's transferring them or for the people who can't transfer, having a seat maybe further back on the edge where they're not blocking so many people. And it wasn't just me, it was blocking quite a few people behind me as well. Now, I was over to the side, so still I can see 3/4 of the stage. But when they did that dinner scene, and this may be part of the reason that I didn't love the dinner scene as much as I might have, I couldn't see Oedipus where he was sitting. I just couldn't see him. And I was having to dodge and weave, and I was having to almost put my head on the shoulder of the guy next to me, awkward, so that I could see this scene, and it really started to annoy me. But what you gonna do? You can also do the Hip Tics program that Roundabout does, where if you're under 40, you can get $35 tickets. That's a great deal. And then the rest of us who are over can play the lottery or see if we can get a good deal on a ticket on Today Tix. All right. Yeah, really enjoyed this. Go check it out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I will see you at the next one.
With what's in front of me, 'cause I don't wanna be